Hey everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. Today I wanted to do a podcast talking about the recent announcement of the NA LCS teams that will be available in 2018, and I wanted to focus on specifically one that didn't make it in, that is to say, the Immortals. Now, I am aware that Riot took their times and they did think about the teams that they wanted to accept back and which teams they actually wanted to have going forward, but at the same time, I think that their priorities have been very interesting, shall we say. So, for those not in the know, 2018 LCS season marks a change from Riot from the former relegation system into franchising, which means that the teams will stick around forever no matter what. Ideally, franchise owners will be tied to a geographic location, so as with Overwatch, where they have the LA Valiant and the San Francisco Shock, etc., these teams will be tied to a geographic location, possibly in the future, and basically these teams will stick around no matter what happens, and they may have, basically, if you're familiar with baseball, AAA, AA, single A teams underneath them to replace the old challenger system as a way to bring up new talent, as opposed to, like I formerly mentioned, the Challenger Series, which was very prone to exploitation by other teams. Now, this is all well and dandy. However, Riot had all teams reapply basically by submitting a detailed analysis of their financial situation and how they intended to run their team were they to be accepted into the new system. No team was guaranteed. However, we all knew that some teams were guaranteed going to make it. Specifically, Team Solo Mid, Cloud Logic Gaming, Cloud9, all those organizations were guaranteed in. Now, here is the interesting thing. Some organizations that have been around in the LCS for a long time did not make it back, and some with good reason. Team Dignitas, for example, was just not very competitive. I don't know the entirety of their financial situation, but it may not have been as good as some others, so they were unfortunately cut. And here's where things get interesting for me. The Immortals did not make it. Now, I will be straight up with you guys. I am an Immortals fan. I really enjoyed the team since they initially entered the LCS and stuck with them, even after they lost Huni, Reignover, and a majority of their incredible first roster. Now, the big thing for me about Immortals not making it in is that Riot said, essentially, that they don't trust that Immortals had the right financial backing. The organization apparently had been operating at a significant loss, according to sources close to Riot. A lot of this was mentioned in an ESPN article that was published a while back. I will be linking that down in the description below. However, at the same time, Immortals are backed by AEG and Lionsgate, which are two very significant organizations, and they presumably have a reasonable stream of revenue. However, they also currently have an Overwatch League team, the LA Valiant, I believe it is, which they are putting a lot of time and energy into making happen. So, to me, that kind of might be one of the reasons why Riot may have not accepted their application. Not necessarily because they disliked Overwatch, but because they realize Immortals have a team already in Overwatch that they're funneling a lot of resources into. They may not have the money necessary to make the League of Legends team work at the same time. To me, though, this smacks a little bit of hypocrisy, given that you also have a smaller organization, Cloud9, for example, that has financial backers, that is running an Overwatch League team and other teams in other esports, but also was accepted into the NA LCS 2018 franchising system. That's a weird concept to me, especially when you look at a lot of the other teams that were accepted into the NA LCS. A lot of them are brand new faces, and that's because, essentially, they were spots bought in or spots that were proposed by other sports organizations. So the Golden Warriors, for example, they are owned by the same owner that owns the basketball's Golden State Warriors, the team that's won the world championship over the last couple of years. So obviously, they have enough financial backing. They already have an idea of how to make the franchising system works. They seem like a good choice, even if they're not a traditional esports organization. However, Cloud9 isn't one of those. They don't necessarily have the same level of financial backing, but they were still offered a spot because they're an iconic NA team. I would argue that the Immortals are the same way. Ever since they showed up on the scene, they have been very strong contenders throughout, and they've been very interesting to watch. They even made Worlds this year. So it is interesting to me why Riot would accept Cloud9, who definitely is more storied, but who, at the end of the day, I don't believe has more financial backing than Immortals. Now, obviously, I don't have the full story here, financially-wise. It could be that Cloud9 is a much more sturdy organization, and the Immortals are not. At the same time, though, I think that Riot's decision to focus more on the financial backing and less on iconic North American teams is somewhat lacking. It feels weird to say the Immortals, a very competitive team over the last few years, are not going to be in, and Echo Fox, a team that has basically faced relegation every year since they came in, is going to be going in. That feels incredibly weird to me, and it's especially even weirder to think of the fact that you have teams that have been around in North America for a long time that fans have a lot of good memories of, such as Team Dignitas, will not be returning because of whatever reason. It just feels odd to me personally. Obviously, there may be a reason for it. I don't have all of the details, but it's something that I would at least like to I would like to invite Riot to relook at their priorities when talking about franchising, and I would hope that Immortals would be on a list for a potential league expansion in the future, because I do think that they had one of the strongest League of Legends teams in the region, and it's a shame that they will not be playing this year, not because they played poorly, but because of other reasons outside of the team's control. It feels really bad for the players, especially who worked so hard, who made it to Worlds, and are now being confronted with the fact that they will no longer be playing in professional League of Legends. Hopefully they all get picked up by other organizations. Anyways, those are just my thoughts on the subject. I am an Immortals fan, so this may be biased. If I am too biased, please go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below. Or if you've got your own thoughts on this issue, comment as well. I would love to hear what you guys think about the NA franchising and the teams that were ultimately accepted. If you enjoy the video, go ahead and leave a like, and if you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. And if you're hungry for more Grab the Lantern content, you can check out my blog, grabthelantern.tumblr.com. I upload an article just about each and every single day for your viewing pleasure. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will talk to you all later.